Hello, this is Dr. Craig Markson, and in this video I'm going to show you how to set up and write the conceptual rationale section of your research paper. In the prior videos we were working on in a Word file, and I showed you how to set up the title page as well as the abstract. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to the third section of the paper, which is the conceptual rationale. Now, one thing you should know is that although the conceptual rationale is the third section of your paper, you should write this section after you do your research questions. So you're going to want to come up with your research questions first, and then you're going to write the conceptual rationale section. So if you notice in the document before you on the screen, you'll see I have the title page. Then I set up the abstract, and if you notice abstract, it's in all caps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit enter until I go to page 3. Now I'm on page 3. Now the conceptual rationale heading is not in all caps. You'd put it in the top center of the screen, but it is not in all caps. Okay? So there we go. And let me go to the PowerPoint video. And if you go to page 7 in your PowerPoint video, the course PowerPoint, you're going to go to page 7, and I'm going to start the slideshow here. And basically, the conceptual rationale, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to introduce the setting, the topic, and/or the research problem. And it would be a good idea to find maybe 1 or 2 short articles from the EBSCOhost database on the Stony Brook University library. And I have another PowerPoint for this course that shows you how to use the EBSCOhost database, and a video on YouTube as well for that. But as I mentioned, you're going to want to, in a general sense, introduce the core part of your research topic. So for example, if you're doing a research paper on school bullying and school bullying prevention, you're going to introduce, what is school bullying in a general sense in K through 12 schools, and why is it a problem for the success in K through 12 schools. For example, we know that school bullying, I'm sure you'll find in the research that school bullying impacts negatively academic achievement, because usually victims of bullies usually withdraw academically. And also, I'm sure you'll find that school bullying is a threat to school safety. All right, so these are some of the things you want to do maybe in the first 2 paragraphs of the conceptual rationale section. All right, as I mentioned, introduce the topic, the setting, and/or the research problem. The second part of the conceptual rationale, you're going to want to discuss why is this topic important for K through 12 school leaders. And use the issyk standards. So if you notice in the course PowerPoint, I have a link here. It says issyk standards, that's Interstate School Leader Licensure Consortium Standards. And if you click on that, I'm going to left click now, the issyk standard document will come up, and on the top, type in page 20 and hit enter right over here. Now, even though it's on page 20 in the PDF, it's really on page 14 if you look on the bottom. So when you cite this, you're citing pages 14 and 15. Okay? But if you notice, issyk Standard 2 talks about instructional leadership. So an educational leader promotes the success of every student by advocating, nurturing, and sustaining a school culture and instructional program conducive to student learning. So for example, if you find that that the victims of school bullying, the victims withdraw academically, obviously as a school leader, you're going to want to prevent that, and that's reinforced by issyk Standard 2, and you could cite that in your paper, use it. Okay, so quote part of this. Now if you look at issyk Standard 3, issyk Standard 3 states that an educational leader promotes the success of every student by ensuring management of the organization, operation, and resources for a safe, efficient, and effective learning environment. Now school bullying is a threat to school safety. We know that from the Columbine incident. I'm sure you're going to find that in the research literature, but you're going to want to cite this. Okay, so this is an example of how to use the issyk standards in this section of the conceptual rationale. You're going to want to discuss why is this research topic important for K through 12 school leaders, and you have that now. Okay, so let me minimize this, go back to the PowerPoint, and if you look at the bottom where I'm circling here, this is what you'd put in the references section of your paper for the ISYK standards, okay? And the in-text citation, so when you're paraphrasing it or quoting it, the in-text citation within your paper should say Council of Chief State School Officers, 2008, in parentheses, and then, of course, the page number, and they're on pages 14 and 15 in that document. Okay? Then the final part of the conceptual rationale section, all you're going to do, you've introduced the core part of your topic. You talked about why this topic is important for school leaders, and then you're going to state that as a result of the above, the purpose of this study was, make sure you write in the past tense because APA calls for writing in the past tense in the final version of your paper. So you'll say, as a result of the above, the purpose of this study was, and then you're going to state your research questions, particularly the big ones, as statements. And then that's it. And then you're done with this section. So you have, again, the first part of the conceptual rationale, you're going to introduce the topic in a general sense, the setting, and the research problem. You're going to discuss why this topic is important for K through 12 school leaders, and you're going to use the ISYK standards to do that, to justify that. And then, of course, the final part is, as a result, okay? And if you're still having trouble, remember that I enclosed a sample paper in the course documents by Ziedman. Look at her conceptual rationale, okay, for some ideas. Obviously, you may be doing a different topic, but just look at how she set it up, okay? And that's it.